Alright, welcome back into the workshop. Today we're going to do something, a little bit of experimental stuff, I guess. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to try something we've kind of been wanting to play around with. I've got the CNC machine here, and I've been playing with it a little bit for, well, it's been about 2 years, I guess now. On and off, just projects when I need them, no big major production, nothing like that. And of course, I knew absolutely nothing about it. So what I do know is I've been YouTube University and all that kind of thing to figure it out. And you probably have seen a little bit on my channel on it, maybe. But anyways, we're going to try a little project here. Had a customer come to me and they wanted a sign built. And so we were talking about what kind of material we wanted to use. And I had used some material earlier on for another sign that I had built. And this sign material is just this board here. This is a PVC board. It's good for exterior. It's just basically a plastic board, you might as well call it. So thought, well, I wonder if I can do something with that. I've made a couple of small signs. I'll throw those in here and let you see what those look like. And that's kind of the inspiration for today's project. They turned out pretty good. And so what I had wondered was that we needed this sign to be a little bit bigger than that. So we went ahead and the actual size looks like I wanted was about 18 by 24, something like that. So I found out, or tried to experiment with this a little bit. Took two boards and I just glued them together like a regular old glue up. And I used multi-purpose plumbing pipe glue, and it sticks together. It's solid. It don't break apart, so I think we're good there. How long it lasts outside? Well, I mean, this stuff is supposed to be durable. It's PVC pipe, so it should, same basic kind of composition makeup is my guess. So I think we're good that way. We're going to try it. Like I say, if it don't work, well, we'll know not to do it that way the next time. So anyways, going to work you through the process a little bit about the way I do it, how I do it, a little bit about the CNC machine here. And then hopefully we'll have some CNCers out there that know a whole lot more than me, which don't take a whole lot, can tell me why I screwed up, how I screwed up, and what I should do different. So maybe this would be a learning experience for me, not only testing and trying, but maybe we'll all learn something together. We'll see how it works out. So anyway, so the first thing, we got it glued up. I already went ahead and started on the project a little bit just to get it prepped. And this thing has got texture on one side of the board, and then on the other side of the board it's just the flat surface, smooth. It's got a little groove there. I don't know, we probably could sand that out if it made a difference. This is an outdoor sign. The customer really wasn't that worried about it, and they also realized that this is a more or less a test piece in practice, so they're not going to be saddled with a big bill to do this. It's really, I want to see how it works out. So more of a learning experience for me and a little bit of fun in trying it. So we've got the basic size here, and we went ahead and got their logo, and I've put it into the machine here, and I don't know how well you'll be able to pick up on all this. I'm not really set up to import a bunch of videos and stuff, but on my laptop, you'll see I use, with my CNC, it's Carbide Create. It's a free program. It comes with my CNC machine, whatever we want to say. It's a good little machine, I guess. It's a Shapeoko. It's 4 foot by 4 foot, so I can handle pretty good sized projects on there. I like to go a little bit bigger when I bought it, just so I'd never say I wish I had a little bit more. I don't think I need to go any bigger than this though. Anyways, so this comes free with the program, and that's really what I've been working with. There's other programs out there probably a lot more powerful than this, but this one's a pretty easy one. They update it. Like I say, it's totally free. It comes with all the basics that you need. And I guess that's about all I can say with that. So in here, Carbide Create, we come in, and I've imported her thing off of her website or whatever it was, her business card, and this is what she wants it to look like on this board. And we couldn't decide whether we wanted to carve it out one way or do an advanced V-groove, which is carve out everything and leave it behind. I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. So anyways, we got it in here, we imported it, we've centered it up, and I didn't go through all the moving stuff around because I struggle with that. It would take me a couple hours for you to see all the struggles, but probably not quite that long. I'm getting a little more proficient in that. But the basic concept is we come in and we made sure that our sizes here, the width and the height were correct. We're not cutting all the way through there, so it really doesn't matter on the thickness so much, but that is measured with the caliper, and I do that just because it's a good habit to get into. And that's measuring from the top of the board. And our 0 point is going to be this bottom left-hand corner. That's where we're going to start doing all our carving from. It's our reference point for all the carving so that it ends up exactly where it needs to be. The rest of this is pretty much it's a softwood. This is actually a plastic, so it's softer than softwood. So we're going to have to try to figure out that a little bit. I'm using inch measurements on this. You can change it over and use millimeter if you prefer. I've got an audience that works in millimeters. Sometimes the millimeters work pretty good on doing things for depth and that type of thing. So some of my measurements are easier. But anyways, once we get that set up and we've got this in here, we've centered it within the workpiece. The measurement on the workpiece was that size. Now we have to come up here to tool paths. I don't know if you're seeing my mouse or not, but that's up here. And under our tool paths, you've got several different settings from contour, the pocket, a V-carve, some texture. You can do keyholes on here for signs, the back of them, and drilling. So you can actually drill holes in something. And in that, you have to do, each one of these will have a tool path. In other words, what the machine is going to do to the work. So it sets up with another thing they call a G code, and it sends it to the CNC machine to do whichever carving you want to do. So what I've got here, as I go over this side over here, you'll see that this one here is a V-carve. It looks like it's carving pretty much everything in red. And then we go down to the next V-carve, and it's carving just a hole around the outside of it to give it some form of a border. This is not going to go into it a whole lot, but we can come down here and under the simulation, it actually shows you what it's going to do and how it's going to do it. You see all the lines, that's the actual path of the CNC machine. And we can shut those off because they really just kind of clutter it. This is what it's going to look like once it's carved out. Now I can take this and spin it over a little bit, and you can see that it's just carving a V and outlining what you saw on the previous drawing. So it's not really a whole lot of carving going on, but we're going to carve that out. And what we want to do when we get all done with this is we want to have a difference in color. This is a white wood, so we want to have the color of the background one color, and we want to have what we carve a different color. So we are going to set this up and show you how to get that to that point. We also have, let me go back over here to this other side though. On these tool paths, right now I have two of them that are highlighted. Like I say, that carves out everything, just kind of outlines what you have on the page. I can also come in here and I can enable these other tool paths that I've set up. And then we'll disable the first ones we did because we won't need those. So you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want. And you can see the picture on there is a whole lot different. And you can see all the little lines where all the things going to go. And if we go to simulate on this one, it cuts it all out. That's getting rid of a majority of the material. And as we turn this thing up, I don't know how you can tell, but you can see the horse and all the lines actually stand out proud. And the rest of it's carved out. So we'll want to have, on this one, we're going to have one color on the face, and then we're going to have everything else in the background painted a different color. So one side of the board we're going to do one thing, the other side of the board we're going to do the other thing, and we're going to see which way we like it best. So that's why we're playing with this thing and see what we can do. You can kind of see how it's going to carve out. Shows everything, all the details. If you see something wrong on this drawing or the simulation, it's going to show up just like that when I carve it. So I think we're in pretty good shape. The detail looks pretty decent, I think. It'll give us enough to to tell what's going on. And a lot of that's through our tool paths and the tools that we choose to cut it with. All right, so that's got that. So we're done with that part of it. Now, let's see, which one do we want to do first? We want to have, on the textured side of this board, I think we want to do, let me look at my notes here and figure this out. Let me look at that, and then we're going to set up for some other. Hold on just a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, we think we've got this figured out. And I think what we had is the textured side of this piece of wood, we're going to do a V-carve, which is we want the horse to be black, and we want the background to be white, and we want all these little lines that are V-carved out should be black. I believe is what we're ending, or will be white, but we're going to just the outline of those will be painted. So the top part should be good enough to maintain the white. So we're going to go ahead and mask off our wood. We've got the background everything's going to be white, so we're that way there. And what we're going to have to do then is to take this, which is masking, and we'll just simply mask over the whole thing. Cover it up. It's sticky on one side, sticks it on it, and we'll come in here and we'll carve all this out, and then be able to peel this back off afterwards, and we'll paint the part that needs to be painted to black after we get this stuck to it. So I'm just going to stick this down, and then we'll come back through and see what we can do with that. Okay, we've got this all masked off. Now I'm using a masking. I bought this stuff through Amazon. They have some other ones out there that others have used. I thought they were probably all the same. I'm not sure if they are. I'm not going to recommend this one. And on this wood, it's definitely not sticking well. So we're hoping that's going to not affect it real bad, but we're going to give it a shot anyways. It could be the texture, could be whatever. Some of the wood I've not had any issues with, but a lot of times when I get into the small details, it is loose enough that it just comes off, and that makes it real hard to finish the other part of the project. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Let's see what we can do with it. And like I say, this is going to be the regular V-carve. We're going to use a 60-degree V-bit, just a little one like this to do it. That's what it tells us when we go over the top of this thing, what we need to use. So next thing we're going to need to do on this is we start up carbide motion, and this is the one that's actually operates the CNC machine. So we'll go ahead and turn that on. So we've got to power up first, and it's coming on, and we'll connect to the cutter. And I did forget to do one other thing here. We need to make sure that we save this file that we're going to do. So we're going to save it like this. This is the one we're going to cut. And we go back to our thing, and we'll go ahead and initialize our machine. So it's going to go ahead and find its point. And as you remember, I said that I always have mine set up to start in the lower left-hand corner. Well, on my table, and I don't know, I haven't seen a whole lot of people do this. I really have these pieces of plexiglass here, and they stay permanent on here unless I really have a big project. I always have that corner right here is my starting point. That it always goes to this spot. I've got it zeroed in at that, which we always set up. And then the only thing I need to do is set my Z, which is your up and down height, so it knows where the top of the wood is depending on what wood I'm putting in there. So we're going to go ahead first off, and we'll load our new file up. We're going to go ahead and put that as this one, and when we bring this page up, let's see if you can show it a little bit here. We can see that the top view is the same as we had before. The front view kind of shows you it's just going to carve it a little bit, not a whole lot of depth. And that's pretty much it. And then your G code, if you really were good, you could go down through this whole list, and that's telling all the coordinates of what it's going to do. So anyways, we don't need any of that. That's way beyond me. And now that we've got that, we need to go ahead and jog this, and we need to go find what the top of the wood is. So we're going to go to set zeros, but we're going to go to this position first. Let's see here. We got to increment. We're going to make this thing move a little bit fast. What we got to do is go find the top of the wood. So we're going to click on our motion here, and that moves the machine over. And then when we want to move it up, we do our y-axis. So we put it on up a little ways. And then we want to find the wood. We're going to come to our Z, and we're dropping it down with our Z axis. Now let's see if we can, the only thing you need to do on this one, let's see if I can get in position here where you can see what I'm doing, is basically you want to find out exactly where that is right at the top of that thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to slow that down. We can slow this down to doing it within a millimeter of each other, and then they go down from there. What you want to do is basically take your paper and move it a little bit and set this thing down until it grabs the paper. Right there, it's got the paper. I don't want that. So now I'm going to decrease my increment and get it tuned in a little bit closer. I'm going to come back up off of it enough to where I can move my paper. That's pretty darn close. I can't quite get under it. So we want to come up just a touch more maybe. There we go. We're just able to slide that paper through there, which is enough for us. I could come down just a fraction, and we're good right there. So that's where the top of our wood is. The machine now knows, or it's going to know, because I'm going to tell it that. Now that we've got that put where we want it, over here, we can go ahead and tell that we want to set our 0. Our X and our Y are already set, so we're going to go ahead and tell our 0 on Z, which is your up and down. Once we hit that, this will come on over, and we'll go to our bit setter. What this will do is that little pin down here, I don't know if I can get it all the way down there so you can see what it's doing. It's going to touch that little lever, and that's telling it exactly where that tool is sitting at. And it knows that that's the bottom of the tool. So the bottom of the tool sits there. It goes back and sits there and says, okay, now what do we want to do? All right, so we got to go ahead. We've done set our 0. So we're happy with that. We're ready to go ahead, I think, and start our project. So we've got the file already loaded. So we'll go ahead and start our job. And this total job is going to take us about 8 minutes. So we'll go ahead and hit start. It's going to bring this over. And being we don't know what bit we had in there, we did not have the right one in there, I can tell you that. So what we'll have to do is do a quick change of the bit. So we'll take this out. This cover comes off, and we get our wrenches here on it, and we pop this one out. Make sure all the sawdust is knocked out of there if there is, and we'll slide the next one in. And you don't need to snug this down super tight, but you want to just snug it up good. Now once that's in place, now this is our little dust shield. Now the one thing I did notice about cutting this stuff is it does make a mess. It's kind of, even with my dust collection on there, it definitely clings to everything. So we're going to go ahead and try to clean this up as much as possible as we go. So it'll get a little noisy. So once I hit start, we're going to go ahead and probably not hear a whole lot of this. I'll let us get a little bit of it into it, and we'll see what's happening with it. So we're good on that. We'll hit resume. It's going to come over now. It knows where that other bit was. Now it's going to go down with the real bit that we're going to use. And it says that it's now knows that that's the 0. So it's pinpointed what 0 is on the top of that wood. We can go ahead and set our spindles on, which is just turning your router on. We'll hit resume. Open up our dust collection and start that up, and we'll watch it here for a minute. wheels, let's go ahead and turn off our spindle. And we hit resume. And it'll pull this up and move it out of the way. And we have carved one project. So, as I say, this plastic on here that's supposed to cover all this up, it doesn't stick very well. And you can see during some of this, it peeled it off. So we're going to have to come back in and clean that up a bit. The rest of it looks all right. The rest of this we're going to paint. We'll have to tape this up, and I'll show some of that as we go probably. But basically, all in all, I carved it fairly decent, I think. That's what it's supposed to look like. We want to paint the whole horse black, so we'll peel all this off inside here. We want to cover this back up. So that we'll go ahead and get it all taped up and painted and show that. But I think first what I'm going to do is flop it over, and I'm going to carve the other side. Probably going to watch that whole thing because it's going to take many more minutes than what this side did. And then we'll work on painting and taping up. So let me go ahead and flop it over, and we'll show you starting that one up and probably cut it from there. Okay, we've gone ahead and swapped to the other project then. We've got the new one loaded up to where we're going to carve that out. I went ahead and reset my 0, so we're done with that. We've got the new piece put in place. Everything is clamped down secure, and we're just basically going to go ahead and start the process over again. We'll go ahead and run, and we'll go ahead and start our job, and this is going to be the same as the other one. We'll just go on through the motion, let it do it. We'll try to capture a little bit of it here and there maybe just to show you how it's progressing, but we'll go ahead with it for right now. We'll hit start job and start, and we'll have to come over, and I'll start out pretty much probably by changing out our bit and going to the 1/4 inch end mill. So let me do that, and the rest of it is just gonna go. So let me check it, and we'll be back with little progress updates. All right, looks like we've got that all carved. We've got a lot of that plastic, or the cloth, or the material I put over there to block that did not stay there. Put a little tape on a couple spots there towards the center of it to try to get a little bit of it done, but that basically shows you what it's going to look like. We'll have to go in here now, and any place that it's pulled the masking off, we'll have to tape it up, and then I'm going to paint all this white. So it's a lot of little tedious cutting in some painter's tape, it looks like, to get the rest of that done. So we'll go ahead and take it loose of here and get it off the bench and mask it up and throw a coat of paint on it. Let's see how she looks at that point. So we're getting close. It's looking decent, I think. So if we can paint it and not mess it up, we'll be in good shape. Okay, we've got this side all masked up, and we've got some paint, I think, ready to go. And let's say it's a little bit rough, but I think we're good to go. So at this point, we should be able to just color me white. So we're going to go ahead and paint it on out, and probably take a couple of coats of paint, I would imagine, just to give it that bling. But that's all there is to it. I'll show you what it looks like when we get it all painted up, and we'll pull the masking off. Okay, and we've got this side done. I think masked up the way we want it. Well, I'm hoping we've got it right. We're going to go ahead and spray her down and see what it's doing. The other side's drying. I've just got it up on stands. So let me go ahead and let me spray her down. Let's see what she does. Okay, we've got this side all painted up now, so that does, we're going to have to let her sit here and dry for a while, but you kind of see that side's done and this side's done. I guess you can see all that. Hope we did that right. Ooh. And we'll go ahead and set this back down. All right, we'll see what it does. Okay, I got the masking off of it. That masking did not do near as good as I was hoping for. Let's see, let me show you kind of what's going on here. But you can see the paint bled up underneath a lot of this. So I'm going to have to go back in here and get me a little bit of black paint, I guess, on this side and touch that back up with a brush. Not a major deal. Don't look real bad. And then the other side is going to be, let me set this It's up. Doesn't look too shabby, I don't think. Most of that was pretty good. It still had a little bit of bleed here and there, so I might take a little white paint and touch that up a little bit too. Let's see if we can get you up here. I don't know which one I like better. We'll let the customer decide that and see if it's going to be good enough to satisfy them. If not, we'll try something different. It's kind of a good experiment. I don't think it looks all bad. It should last a long time. So I think we're going to just call that close enough. We'll touch it up a little bit, but that kind of gives you an idea what it is. And anyways, that's the process I went through. Like I say, I'd love to have somebody that knows more about it than me. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me how to make it better. That always helps, but that kind of shows you what I know about it. Anyways, I think it'll look all right after I clean it up a little bit. So we'll do that. We'll wrap it up here. I'm not going to show all the touch-ups, but we'll try to put a picture of the final product someplace in here at the end. So that's it. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. And let me know if you like this stuff. We'll do another project maybe together. And if you hit that like, subscribe, and all that stuff, that would sure help my channel out. Make it worth me putting it together. Thanks a bunch, and we'll talk to you on the next project.